What's good, YouTube? Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. All right, let's go ahead and get into the video. Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 13, Episode 5. Just a real quick recap. All right, so we know last week Kenya asked Kendi, can she host a surprise engagement party for Cynthia? Because y'all know last season, Kenya almost ruined Cynthia Bailey's proposal to Mike Hill. So this year, she wants to throw a surprise engagement dinner party, whatever you want to call it, kind of just to make it up to Cynthia for taking away that moment for her. So I think it's a great idea, but of course she's asking Kendi, can she host it? Because if Kenya sent out the invite to the rest of the ladies, it won't be well received. Most likely they won't show up, especially if they don't know what it's for. They won't show up, or they'll show up extremely late. So knowing that Kendi is the host will be better received by the other ladies, because half of them ain't even here for Kenya Moore, quiet as it's kept. But anywho, so this episode pretty much starts off with Cynthia and LaToya, the new girl, and Kenya Moore. They meet up at some lingerie store, and they're trying on different lingerie pieces. And clearly, LaToya is thirsty for camera time and Kenya Moore's attention. Like, they're flirting. They have this, like, girl-on-girl crush amongst each other. And it's kind of weird, awkward. They, like, 20 years apart from each other, which is nothing wrong with. I'm not age-shaming, but what is it? Kenya Moore, like, 49 years old, and now she want to play in the lady pond. I smell a storyline. But I digress. Now, don't get me wrong. LaToya definitely seems like she's a fun girl, if you know what I mean. But Kenya Moore doesn't give me that vibe. She gives me the vibe like she only do like on holidays, birthdays, special occasions, when you get promoted. But she don't seem like she's a freak in the sheets. So it's kind of like y'all playing in my face. But while they're there, they bring up the fact that Kenya was uninvited to Porsha's surprise celebration last episode. Now, keep in mind, Porsha's sister Lauren hosted this event. It was a surprise party. Porsha did not know about the party or the guest list, so she didn't have no type of control over that. Lauren invited Kenya and then uninvited her an hour later after thinking about it. She wanted to be a special moment for her sister Porsha. Kenya is known for coming in and causing ruckus in somebody's party or event, so she didn't want that to occur, And I totally agree. And based off of Kenya's reactions and response after she was uninvited, means Lauren had the correct reservations about Kenya. So, yeah, she was on point with uninviting her. She probably shouldn't have even invited her. Like, Kenya should have just saw this shit on TV. But that's just me. But anyway, we skip on down to Porsha, down at her house, and she's talking with Lauren about how Kenya sent her a Rosa Parks doll for her daughter, PJ. Even though she was uninvited or whatever. And Lauren's kind of feeling bad for uninviting Kenya to the party. But Porsha kind of let her know, girl, don't worry about that. I'm not bothered about that. It is what it is. And I think one of the producers asked Porsha, does she care? And she's like, about what? Like, Porsha and Kenya drama is the definition of beefing with yourself. Like Kenya obviously is very bothered by Porsha, everything she do, and Porsha's just completely unaware because she thinks they kind of cool, So it's gonna be funny to see how this shit play out. While talking to Lauren, Porsha did mention that she's working on a book. The book is going to be called The Pursuit of Porsha. Basically, it's a memoir of Porsha's journey from early childhood to present day. She's witnessed things like depression and abuse, and she just wants to share her story, her journey, just to let people know, young females especially, that they're not alone in this world, and I love it. So Porsha then sits with not only just Lauren, but her Mama Diane. A lot of people didn't know that Lauren, who's Porsha's sister, is Porsha's sister on her daddy's side. All right, we don't say half sister and half brother in the black community. We just don't use that type of term. That's your sister on your daddy's side. That's your sister on your mama's side. Like, we leave it at that. Nothing more, nothing less. But anywho, but a lot of people didn't know that because Lauren and Miss Diane, they get along really well. You would think that was her own daughter, but no, they're not even related, not by blood. But anywho, They have a good bond. But they all sit down just to kind of discuss the beginning parts of Portia's book. I will say this was actually the best scene from the whole episode. Portia mentions that she doesn't recognize having daddy issues. Um, and of course, she feels that way because she never felt neglected. She never felt like she didn't have a father. Of course, her dad passed away. I think she said when she was like 17 years old. But all the way up until that point, she didn't miss a father figure from her father. Like she spent weekends, holidays, and the co-parenting was not an issue for Mama Diane and Lauren's mom and their dad. So Portia, in her mind, didn't really realize she was suffering through daddy issues. And I'm trying to say that in the most respectful way as possible. But on the outside looking in, her relationship with Dennis, how Portia's mom was done by their dad is basically what Dennis is doing to Portia. And it's sad to see, but it's just the truth. Portia did go on to say that she did want Dennis to be in the home with her and PJ and wanted to have this whole family situation, but she lived with no regrets. She picked the right guy. She know that Dennis is still going to be just like her dad was in her life. Dennis is not going to have a problem being in PJ's life. So I commend Portia for even expressing this to the viewers, because a lot of times when people don't make things right with the person they had kids by, they're magically not SHIT. And I don't understand that concept. If you get with somebody, y'all have a child together, and it just doesn't work out, that person is not now garbage because you're not with them. That's still the father or mother of your child. And the best thing y'all could do is make it work for the child, even if it means co-parenting. There's no reason to dog the person that you once loved or had a situation with out, because that just don't make no sense. I'm not going to ever have a baby by somebody, and if it don't work out, now my baby mama just not SHIT. Yeah, that's kind of dumb and backwards as hell. But anywho, I digress. But Mama Diane did go on to mention how Lauren and her mom had no issues, like I said, co-parenting, but she did say things got a little bit out of hand when Lauren's mom would call her just to gossip. And even when she was pregnant with Lauren, she called her, and it was just a little bit weird, which I agreed that is kind of weird and out of place, but we are in the South, and I don't put nothing past anybody down here. Anywho, throughout this whole conversation, Portia realizes that she do have some type of daddy issues, and she never really known it until she, started digging into research about her book, her family research. So, you'll find out a lot of things if you just sit back and ask questions. Talk to somebody older in your family. Though, overall, I'm sure it's going to be very therapeutic, and it's going to help with any type of healing process Portia needs. Not even just for her sister, her mom, and maybe even, the other woman too, like all around across the board for the family. It might be completely beneficial for their healing process if they need it. But anywho, we move along. So we get on down to the surprise engagement party. Of course, Kenya Moore is the first one to get there because it's her event, and she's pretty much the one there, along with the staff, everybody that's helping with the venue. And then we see like a little flash clip of everybody kind of preparing for the engagement party. Portia, of course, nobody still knows what's going on. So Portia, she let us know she's going to be an hour late or so. Candy and Todd, they're getting ready. And Mike and Cynthia, they're getting ready. But they think that they're going to some, like I said, meet and greet to see the president. It's really funny because they like, I wonder if we can take selfies with him and all that good stuff. But that's not the case, baby girl. Anywho, so eventually people start to arrive at the venue. Tanya Sims was the first one to get there, and she realizes that Candy is not there at her own event, and Kenya pretty much let her know that, surprise, it's not Candy's event, it's actually my event, but I know y'all wouldn't have came if my name was attached to it, so she was my decoy. But she let her know it's an engagement party for Cynthia and Mike or whatever, and Tanya kind of like, oh, okay, cool. But, and then, of course, everybody eventually started to arrive. Cynthia and Mike, when they came in, they didn't realize at first, even with the theme of the party being called chill, kind of like Frozen vibes. Everything was icy and white, you know. But they still didn't catch on until everybody was like surprised, look around, and then I think they genuinely were shocked and excited. Um, they was excited, but like I said, they were looking forward to see and meet Joe Biden, get their selfie. So they kind of was still bummed about that. And I'm be real, if it was me too, I would be bummed because don't tell me we're going to a Beyonce concert and then we get on down to Applebee's and it's a surprise party for me. I'm gonna be looking sideways, like I'm gonna be like, well, this is great. Did y'all at least reach out to Beyonce? Like that's gonna be like, is Joe still coming? But I get it. But they seem to be excited. Cynthia was so excited that she went on to ask Kenya to be her bridesmaid. Not maid of honor though. Keep that in mind. I think Mallory got that spot, her sister. But she was so excited that she asked her to be her bridesmaid. And I don't think Cynthia actually meant to do that. I think in the midst of being happy and joyful and, feeling good, she was just like, let me return the favor. Let me return the love. Because the way she asked Kenya to be a bridesmaid was kind of like, she started to say it and she realized she didn't really want to do it. But she was kind of like, if I let you do this, you cannot mess up. It was like one of them type of questions. I would not want Kenya Moore to be nowhere near my wedding, let alone be in it. But again, she did ask Candy to be a bridesmaid as well, a bridesmaid as well. Damn, did I say it right? I'm from the South, like I said, so we just talk how we want to. Anyway, she did ask her to be a bridesmaid, and of course, Candy accepted. They are like the new old lady gang. So, who else are you gonna ask on this show to be your bridesmaid? But anyway, so they ended up sitting down to have dinner or whatever. And then, like I said, Latoya comes in super late, but nobody says anything because really don't nobody care. But it's not that big of a deal. But anyways, she comes, and as soon as she comes, she's stirring up mess. Uh, she was like, hey, did y'all see that picture that I sent to Kenya or Kenya sent to me? And was like, I'm thinking as a viewer, how would we see a picture that she sent to you? If you want to show us, just say it. So, of course, she's showing the picture of Kenya, and she said, I keep it on my phone, screensaver as body goes. And Marlo was like, well, you might need to get your ass done first, like she did. Or she implied that. And, of course, Kenya gets upset. They go back and forth, and then Candy's like, y'all need to calm down. This is not what we're doing today. Whoop the Wayne. So she tried to keep the peace. And then here go Kenya Moore hair care. Like, Porsha, did you get the doll that I sent you? And then Portia's like, yeah, I did get the Rosa Parks doll. Thank you. I appreciate it. And then Kenya's like, well, I wish I would have been able to give it to you in person. And, of course, everybody, just like me, I yelled at TV. It was a surprise party. Porsha was not in control of the invite list. And then Kenya tries to talk some way into making it make sense, talking about well, I did this for Cynthia, whatever. Like, I don't, Kenya, let it rest. Like, you want drama with Porsha so bad, and Portia's not here for it. She got bigger and better things she's fighting for. And, what you got going on is just like, it's late and it's whack. And nobody's here for it. So I'm glad that didn't really overshine Cynthia's moment. Because Porsha kind of just was like, girl, okay, I thought we was cool. So I think Porsha, looking at the show like we are, is realizing they not as cool as she thought they were. I don't think Porsha thought they were friends, but I'm pretty sure she didn't think that this girl had vendettas against her. Yeah, so that pretty much is the recap of this episode. Of course, the episode ended with Mike and Cynthia still wanting to see Joe Biden in their confessions, and then a little snippet of Candy taking Riley off to college, and they actually drove there from Atlanta to New York City because, of course, COVID was safer, I'm sure. So if you want to know more about that journey with Candy and Riley, I've already watched the video this morning. Speak on it on Candy's YouTube page. So go on there. It was a good video. Very entertaining. I'm glad she didn't do a review of the show like I did, because I probably wouldn't have done it after listening to her review. But y'all definitely like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Share the video if you care, and welcome to my page. All right, I'm about to go. Y'all be encouraged.
Porsha. Okay, bye.